Howard Kelly was a skinny high school student going door to door selling greeting cards. And here's the truth. He stunk at it. He was lousy. He was the worst salesman anyone had ever seen in the history of the world. He couldn't sell crap. But he didn't quit. He kept going door to door. And one day he was having a really bad stretch, really bad. He was down to one thin dime. He was hungry. He determined, I really stink at this. I'm just going to quit, go knock on one more door, and just beg for food. And he determined to do that. And he walked up to a door, and he knocked. Except a very beautiful young lady answered the door. And Howard Kelly did what many of us guys do when confronted with a beautiful young lady. He fell apart at the seams. He wasn't able to ask for food. He could just squeak out of his mouth, just the best he could, glass of water. Well, she had a sense he needed a bit more than a glass of water. So she invited him in, and she took out a very large glass, and she filled it with very cold milk, and she handed it to him. And Howard Kelly drank that milk, and he enjoyed every single taste of that milk going down his throat. But he enjoyed it especially, not because it was physically picking him up, but this was an outstanding young lady. And he asked her, how much do I owe you? She said, Mama always said, never accept payment for a kindness. And when Howard Kelly walked out that door, he was a very different young man. He was renewed. He was inspired. He wasn't going to quit. He wasn't going to give up. He would sell those damn greeting cards. He would pay his way to college and beyond. And he did. Many years went by. This young lady got older. And one day she took very ill. The local hospital took her in. They were unable to fix her. They were unable to determine even what it was. They sent her to the big hospital in the big city. They were unable to determine what this disease was. They had no cure for this. The only chance they had was to bring in the finest specialist in the United States. So Dr. Howard Kelly was flown across the country, and when he got to the hospital, he looked at the chart, he saw her hometown, and he had a feeling. He did not walk to her room, he ran to her room. And when he got there, he peeked in the door, he took one look, and he had no doubt. Yes, many years had gone by, but in that frozen moment, he knew exactly who this was. And Dr. Kelly made a determination at the door of that room. He would not rest, he would not sleep, he would not stop until he found a cure. And you know what? He did not rest, he did not sleep, he did not stop, and he did find a cure. When the woman was awoken and told she had many more years of life ahead of her, she was thrilled. But also, she had a lot of trepidation. She knew the experimental treatment that just cured her, she would be spending the rest of her life paying that medical bill back. Well, the bill was right at her bedside. And with a great deal of fear, she picked it up and she opened it and she pulled it out. The initial number for the bill was bigger than anything she imagined. But then there was a stamp over it. And as she looked much closer at the stamp read, paid in full with one glass of milk, Dr. Howard Kelly. Sowing and reaping, folks, is not a religious concept. Sowing and reaping is a scientific concept. Albert Einstein proved if you throw a ball forward and you wait long enough, it'll hit you in the back of the head. Every idea that you have in life comes back to you. Every deed, every intent, every motion that you go through in life will eventually hit you in the back of your head. It is quite true. What you give in this world, you will receive. Which brings me to our next speaker, Tami Gaines. Tami Gaines founded Alivio Products. It is a wellness company that develops magnesium-based products. I want a show of hands. How many people here know the effect of a lack of magnesium in your body? 3, 4. Room full of people, 3 or 4 people raise their hand. You have over 300 enzymes in your body that are unable to function without magnesium. 300 enzymes in your body cannot function properly if you don't have magnesium in your system. And here's the kicker, folks. 2 out of 3 Americans are extremely, not just magnesium deficient, extremely magnesium deficient. Think of all the chronic illnesses that this might be creating right now. Think of all the chronic illness that may be launched by this one deficiency. Simply put, magnesium is a superstar mineral, and Alivio Products has exclusive rights to the highest quality, therapeutic grade magnesium sulfate in the world, given their partnership with Warren Chambers of the Elements Corp. And if you don't know who Warren Chambers is, and you should, please look it up. You know, I preach all the time, the secret to success. Have a proprietary right in an essential product with freedom of pricing, and the world is yours. You own it. The world is yours. So when I spoke with Tami, 1-on-1, Tami's known me for a long time. She knows I'm a number guy with a big ego. She knows she should be speaking about margins and speaking about distributable free cash flow. She knew that, but she didn't. You know what she spoke to me about? How she wants to see magnesium de-stress Americans. How she wants to bring every American into balance, one customer at a time. Our star thrower, number 2, Tami Gaines.
And I just wanted to thank you again for that amazing, scary information. I took a bunch of notes, but you know, we're of like mind. It's a good theme this morning. Whether it's eating whole plant-based diets or making sure that we have enough magnesium in our system to function properly, it all comes back to what you eat and what you put in your body. And it's not an impending crisis, as you said down with the healthcare. It's a catastrophe waiting to happen. So we need to take our own healthcare into our own hands. So the ball that I threw that came back and hit me in the back of the head is that my background is branding. So I've held very high-level positions at companies like Colgate-Palmolive. My last corporate job was Director of U.S. Marketing for American Safety Razor. And what I took away from all of that is I really wanted to build a brand. And for all these years, I've been trying to figure out what's the brand, what's the brand, what's the brand. And the other thing I know for sure is that I'm committed to wellness. So my mom was a registered nurse back when it was not cool to say no candy, no sweets, no soda. Like we had the bad house on the block. Nobody wanted to come over because we ate healthy. No candy, no sweets, no soda, no flour, no chocolate. Like that's hard to hear when you're a little kid, and I have 3 brothers, so. But we're extremely healthy. We've been athletes our entire life. I'm still an athlete, so I'm committed to wellness and finally found a way to bring these 2 things together, which is what Alivio Products is all about. So Alivio actually stands for relief in Spanish, and that's what we're trying to do here, is solve some chronic issues. So let's talk about magnesium sulfate. You know, Steve did a fantastic job, but magnesium deficiency is a worldwide epidemic that affects more than 2/3 of the world's population. You know, we talked about food. Most of the soil is depleted from the nutrients and the minerals that used to be there. They're gone, so we're forced to supplement. What people don't know, and I talked to a few people here this morning who told me they were taking magnesium? Gentlemen? Okay, you and the gentleman with the back. So he told me you're taking a magnesium supplement. I said, what form? And he said it's a tablet. So magnesium is best absorbed transdermally through the skin. And most people don't know that, which is why so many people are, remain deficient. So they've called magnesium the lamp of life. I can't even see that, so I'm going to assume you can't. Magnesium has been called the lamp of life because it is so important for your body's optimal functioning. So it's been used to treat acne, rashes, skin irritation, high blood pressure, certain forms of cancer, inflammation, nervous system issues like anxiety, stress, seizures, depression. So what affected me personally, and when I really got turned on to magnesium, is About 11 years ago, I became unexpectedly pregnant with twins, and my husband left me over my decision to keep them. Now, that is a whole different story. You could edit that out of the video, but it's true. But the stress of the divorce and the stress of what was going on landed me in the hospital on bed rest for 5 weeks in the hospital. And every time I went into labor, they gave me magnesium. So I'm bored, I'm in the hospital, I can't get up, I'm using a bedpan, I'm stuck there, just trying to stay pregnant. I started reading about magnesium, and it's amazing. The benefits of magnesium for pregnant women. For me, I didn't hold on to the pregnancy long. I gave birth at 25 weeks. But magnesium was their go-to mineral. For preeclampsia, which is one of the #1 pregnancy complications, magnesium is the go-to solution for that. So magnesium, you showed that slide with all the different ailments that can be addressed by eating plant protein. It's almost the same exact chart for magnesium. So let me tell you about Alivio products a bit. First of all, I've been working on Alivio products with my friend Warren Chambers, who Stephen mentioned, for the last 4 years. So now I've been launching and starting businesses for the last 30. I know how to churn them out, write the business plan, do the financials, but this was special. So this is 4 years in the making. And our idea is that we're going to use the same fundamental magnesium base, which is something that Warren has been using for 35 years. Everything is a balm or bath crystals or a spray. Every single thing. Our goal here is to build a house of brands. So if you think about, I worked at Colgate-Palmolive. That was a house of brands. Have you heard of Palmolive dish liquid? Colgate toothpaste? Speed Stick? Lady Speed Stick? Colgate is a house of brands versus being a branded house. And that's exactly what we want to do here, is build a house of brands. And I'm going to talk to you today about the first 3 brands that we're launching with. Our product development system and launch strategy is systemized, it's efficient, it's streamlined, and we can get a new product to market in about 3 months. If you think about some of these big companies out there, like the ones I've named, it takes them 24 months to 36 months to get a new product out. So I'll talk to you about that also. Everything we have is clinically proven. So there's white paper evidence, there's existing literature, there's doctors that embrace it, and that's important, like you mentioned. Scientific based is critically important for credibility. And we're extremely efficient as a company. So the vision is that we'll be the leading product development company for therapeutic grade magnesium, which is the highest quality magnesium you can get in the world. Now here's a fun fact. We talked a little about history. Guess who owns the company that has the monopoly on therapeutic grade magnesium sulfate? Anybody. Starts with an H. They own monopolies of almost everything. Hillary. Opposite. Halliburton. Who said that? Halliburton, Dick Cheney's company. They own the monopoly on therapeutic grade magnesium. Nobody can get it, but Warren Chambers, who is our advisor for research and development, has the exclusive license to get it and use it in these products. So that is one of our big competitive advantages. There's other sources of magnesium out there, but they're just not as good. So quick analysis, a SWOT analysis. You'll love this, Steve. This is my MBA talking here. So what's the strength that Alivio has right now? Number one, we have a fantastic management team. Everybody brings something to the party. This is not a friends and family thing. These are people that I know from time, in industry, and I'm going to take you through that. We're very focused on niche markets. So I'm going to talk to you today about stress relief. I'm going to talk about our pregnancy product. I'm going to talk to you about our sexual lubricant for men. Okay. I could talk about that one first if it's the most interesting, because apparently it is to everybody. But we are moving into cancer. My son has special needs. He has autism, and the research on magnesium and autism is phenomenal. Diabetes, athletes. So we have a pipeline of probably 3 years worth of products, all focused on very niche markets. We're well networked. I mentioned our relationship with PQ, the Halliburton company. They also represent a potential exit strategy, which I'll tell you about at the end. We have engaged founders, and we self-financed ourselves up to this point. We're here because we actually need some more money to take this to market and to run with it. Weaknesses, brand awareness. So I'm in branding. I know how hard that is. The benefit now, though, is that we have social media. And social media has even the playing field for so many different companies out there in terms of branding. We have people that want to sell for us. Those people also want to get paid. I don't know why. It's such a great concept. Everybody should jump in. But anyway, so we need financing for the sales force, and we need to launch our marketing team. The opportunities here are just absolutely untapped distribution channels. Spas. So where's my friend? We talked about the flotation, right, Judy? Flotation devices are a great market for Epsom salt, which is, by the way, what magnesium sulfate is. We have a big product pipeline. We can attract industry experts because it makes sense. There's backing. What's the threat? Normal threats. Undercapitalized. I will be totally honest. We're looking for a backup supplier. Very hard to find when you're working with the guy that has monopoly on magnesium sulfate. But that's an ongoing thing that we're looking at. What we do have is a long-term licensing deal with Warren to manufacture this, and that deal extends to PQ. So we don't think that's going to be a real threat. Okay, traction, where are we? Well, we've developed the formulas. We actually created branding and formulas for 5 different lines, but we're coming out with 3 to start, so we can be very focused. We've identified and sourced the packaging. Like I said, we have an exclusive manufacturing and license agreement with the supplier. And Steve, that's what creates the moat around the castle. I got that from him. He pushed back on the phone. It wasn't a beautiful phone call. 2-year pipeline of products. We have an exit strategy. We have a purchase order from East Orange General Hospital, their women's health center. They love the pregnancy products. We have an open door to go present to Wakefern, which is ShopRite. One of our board members has a direct connect to the CEO of Target and also the top buyer for the military. So they're all willing. There's a bunch of sales opportunities out there that we can pull the trigger on. In addition to Whole Foods, and we have approval from Amazon to list in all the relevant categories, which is requiring jumping through hoops to get into the health and wellness category in Amazon now. So what's the problem? We talked about the magnesium deficiency is a worldwide epidemic. Ultimately, what's happening is it's creating chronic illness all throughout the world. So Alivio products is a solution. And the concept is rather than go out with a jar of magnesium sulfate and say, here, what's your name?
Rose.
Hey, Rose, just take that. Rub it on, you'll be just fine. People don't normally respond to the blanket approach. So we're creating very large, niche, focused markets that we could speak a language that they understand. And everything we have is transdermal. Like I said, you could rub it on, you could soak in it, or you could spray it on, and that is clinically proven to be the best delivery system out there. Everything has natural skin conditioners, they're kosher certified, they're organic, they're doctor recommended, no artificial colors, gluten-free, mineral-based, not meat-based, plant-based. So they're naturally beneficial products. Now I'm gonna bring them out so you guys can smell them, but I just want you to know we've already had reviews because the formula that Warren is licensing to me has been out there for a while in different forms. So he has reviews from doctors. The head trainer at Temple University talked about sore muscles, recovery from sore muscles and inflammation. The aquatic therapy of Chinatown here in New York, they use 2 cups of crystals in their whirlpool before they begin other modalities, and they see a massive increase in results with their patients. There's lots of sports teams. The Philadelphia 76ers uses a soak, the crystals that I'm going to talk to you about today. They love them. The Philadelphia Flyers, they also use the soak and the balm. They find that they have great anti-inflammatory impact. The Carolina Panthers has used them. Again, they use them to treat specific injury and also for general pain relief. Now let's talk about the stress relief market for starters, and then actually let me bring out the products. Okay, so, and we could pass these around and you could play with them. So as I said, everything is a rub, a spray, or you can soak in it. These are therapeutic-based bath crystals. I'm trying to think how we should do this. Do you want to play with them a little bit? And then I'll tell, okay. She's like, yes. So you can, okay, so for the bath crystals, we have 3 different flavors. The wellness industry is a $2 trillion global market. And over the last 30 years, self-reported levels of stress by everybody except for this gentleman have increased 18% for women and 25% for men. So stress is going up. Stress costs us a lot of money. It costs corporations a lot of money. People lose work. People underperform. The World Health Organization estimates that it costs more than $130 billion a year to treat stress. So it's real. So Distressology is a stress relief line. They all act as an anti-inflammatory that relaxes the muscles and depresses the nervous system, which really helps reduce anxiety, tension. If you know people that are depressed, it counteracts depression. My oldest daughter suffers from depression, not horribly, but she has bouts. And she calls me from college, and I could tell, I was like, go have a bath. And I've sent her the stuff. She calls me back the next day. She's like, okay, that did it. So I don't know if it was the bath or the stuff, but she's been using it for more than 2 years now and has had amazing results in terms of depression. It alleviates migraines, and it's also an antioxidant. So Mr. Campbell talked about free radical damage. Free radical damage leads to more than 66 degenerative diseases. So magnesium is a great free radical scavenger. So did you all try the body balm that went around? It's non-greasy, right? In addition to the magnesium, it contains arnica montana, lobelia, and flatta. These are both plant-based herbs that deal with inflammation, and they also deal with pain. The recovery spray, which hopefully went around, it's a potent formula. It penetrates faster and deeper than the other products that we have. It also delivers your RDA of magnesium, and it has anti-aging properties. So, women, if you want to take a look at those wrinkles. For me, I do the whole body. But anyway. So the bath crystals, they are non-staining. The colors are all natural. There's no dyes in there. The color comes from the essential oils. They have aqua release technology, which delivers skin conditioners and essential oils as soon as it hits the water. They're released into the water. They all contain dead sea salts, and again, arnica and lobelia. So competition, there's so much competition out there in the stress relief market. I'm gonna hit you with the highlights. There's a million supplements that claim they can help you with stress. There are things, there's stress balls, there's toys, there's eye coverings, there's candles, there's essential oils. There's specific situations where there are people spreading information. If you're a nurse, how do you get unstressed as a nurse? How do you get unstressed while you're driving? And then of course, there's a bunch of information marketers out there that are making a living selling stress relief. So our target customer, very quickly, men and women, 25 to 55. Now let's talk about the pregnancy health market. So the reproductive management market is a $3.7 billion industry. Obviously, women are not going to stop getting pregnant anytime soon. So it's a great replacement market. There are over 222 million women worldwide in need of reproductive health support. So we have two products. Mama Maggie's, that's the name of our pregnancy line. So our preeclampsia foot soak, and I'm gonna pass and you could smell. The preeclampsia foot soak is a magnesium-based foot soak. If you soak in it for 20 minutes a day, it reduces your chance of getting preeclampsia by about 40%. And again, preeclampsia is the #1 complication of pregnancy. It includes a rise in the blood pressure, migraines, swelling of the hands and feet. A lot of women land on bed rest in the hospital because of preeclampsia. So this is the only preeclampsia foot soak that's out there on the market. And like I said, we have interest from a few hospitals, so that's an important product. And then the other product that I have is a childbirth recovery pack. So whether you have a baby vaginally or by C-section, in the recovery pack are two products. One is a recovery balm. So if you have a C-section, you rub it on, it takes the pain away, it reduces inflammation, it increases the speed of healing for the scar. Okay, that's the recovery balm. And then we have a sitz bath soak. Does anyone not know what a sitz bath is? Okay, I love you. He's a plant. Okay, so let's sit down together. Let me explain. No, so a sitz bath is basically a very shallow plastic bin, and you put it on the toilet, and you soak in it after you have a baby, vaginally typically, or if you suffer from hemorrhoids. So our sitz bath soak, so by the way, there's no color, no fragrance, no anything in these products. You put a couple of teaspoons in the sitz bath soak, and it increases your recovery from a vaginal delivery by 50%. So absolutely amazing. Now, by the way, let me just interject. The balm is the same as the balm that's going around. All we're doing is branding and adding a couple of additional ingredients. So I'll pass this to you. There you go. Okay, so who's the competition? Again, supplements. Most of the competition I've seen in this area is for stretch marks. Every major company is out there with something for stretch marks. Preeclampsia, they usually put people on prescription medicine. which I am down on in general, but down on worse when you're pregnant, because you have no idea what that's doing to the fetus. Lots of home remedies out there, and there's a lot of recovery products. There's hot and cold compresses, there's witch hazel, but I think nothing as focused as what we're offering. Probably don't need to go into the target. Who's our target? Pregnant women. Oh, by the way, worth mentioning, African Americans and Latinas over-index in pregnancy complications. So a black woman is 30% more likely to have a preterm baby than a white woman. So we're gonna do some focused efforts in those two communities in particular. So let's talk about men's health, the good stuff. So the market for reproductive technologies and products for men is $19.6 billion. Now, what does this include? It includes things for erectile dysfunction. It includes every gimmick that you've seen, in the local CVS, the commercials that you see on TV for, hey, man, you want to be 5 inches longer? Take this. We're all adults. My kids, I left them at home, so we can have adult conversation in here. It's growing at 4% annually, which is huge, and there are more than 4 billion sexually active adults in the world. So what do we know for sure? We know that men tend to not go to the doctor. There's a few men in this room that are more astute from a wellness standpoint. But essentially, the concept was, how do we get men the required magnesium levels that they need? Well, very simply, we should hide it in something that they're doing anyway. So what does magnesium do for men? It promotes normal sexual function. It increases male libido. It increases your sperm count. It increases testosterone production. It increases fertility. It increases sexual arousal and stamina, and it reduces the swelling of the prostate gland. So men that are magnesium deficient are 60% more likely to get prostate cancer than men that aren't. So our product is called Boom Boom Butter. It's a sexual lubricant and recovery gel, and it is for men and women. I don't think I need to go into the lubricant. Actually, I don't need to go into any of this. You could just read the screen. But it's a natural anti-inflammatory. It's a pain reliever. It heals the small tears that occur if your partner is well endowed or there's vaginal or anal stretching. It heals those little tears that can actually be very painful. In addition to the therapeutic grade magnesium, it contains Boswellia serrata, which is a South African herb, which is a natural, sorry, but you're a man and you're sitting there. All right, direct competitors for the Boom Boom. By the way, this is funny. I did a presentation to a group of doctors, and this little tiny woman who, she must have been practicing forever, she's like, let me tell you something. That's going to be your #1 seller. I was like, okay. And she's right. Every meeting, people are like, that's the one. But KY jelly, supplements, home remedies, obviously Viagra, Cialis. There's things out there that men can take. But Boom Boom Butter, the concept behind Boom Boom Butter is to distribute it in adult play stores, adult stores. I've talked to Hustler. Who thought you'd be having this conversation this morning? So I talked to the manager of Hustler and presented the concept, and she loved it. Her feedback, I had it in a bigger size in a different container. Her feedback was, give me something I could put on the counter in a counter display, and give me some literature, and it'll fly. So she's going to introduce us to the Hustlers nationwide. And then, there's all sorts of pop-up, like adult stores. Again, social media is going to become important, and health professionals. So we have health professionals that are very interested in carrying all of the lines. So I mentioned our planned products: diabetes, inflammation, joint disorders. Special needs is the next one on the docket, mostly because that's near and dear to my heart. Cancer, corporate wellness, and Latin America is a big target, big opportunity. Okay, so distribution strategy. I have no idea how much time I have left. 5 minutes. I'll take 3. Okay, so we are going to bring on board a broker sales force to help us rapidly expand distribution. We'll have a direct sales force, which is highly focused on professional sales, specialty markets, spas, obviously internet sales, and you'll see one of our teammates is going to head up our professional sales piece. Marketing strategy, very simple, very streamlined, lots and lots of public relations. So sending out samples to editors, going and getting on blogs. I used to have a radio show. I have a very big social media following. So just getting in front of people that know people and talking about the benefits of magnesium in these particular products is going to be the crux of it. sending samples to influencers, working with partners, like for example, back to the Boom Boom Butter, working with Trojan Condom, Warner Lambert, to do some co-packing or do some sort of partnership. They'd be interested in it. I've talked to some of them. And then social media, huge. So talking to bloggers, getting reviews, building a tribe of loyal followers for each of the product lines. Content marketing, website traffic, advertising, promotions. Ops plan, I'm gonna just skip this in the interest of time, but our plan is very simple. Like I said, it's all the same base products, the balm, the spray, the crystals, same exact. It gives us economies of scale in terms of purchasing and ordering. And we're working with PQ, which is 53% owned by two different private equity companies. So it's very exciting, very stable company. Suppliers. So let me take you through the team very quickly. Look, I asked you for your clicker, and I'm not even using it. Okay. So my background, I mentioned, I have my MBA from Columbia. I've been launching products my entire career and doing new product development. Dr. Boyd Rooney is our Director of Health Professional Accounts. She is actually running a large women's center right now and has access to doctors through different health systems and different hospital systems. So she's going to be making the push for the professional accounts. We have a fantastic creative director who has access to magazines like Southern Living, Ebony, Essence. She used to be a magazine designer, so she can get us into all those magazines. We have a director of finance who specializes in biotech startups. Tom Williams, director of business development, absolutely extraordinary. He's the guy with the contacts to get us at CEO level, decision maker level. Warren, Steve probably said it best, look him up online. He created the most successful hair care product ever in the industry of hair care. He's developed products for Jennifer Lopez, any celebrity bath and body product you see out there, whether it's bath salts or whatever it is, Warren developed them. And we met accidentally a few years ago at one of my daughter's fashion shows. So it's been, just amazing connects. And then Raul Martin has done Latin American expansion for a variety of nutritional supplement companies. He has contacts in Venezuela and in Dominican Republic. So we're looking to move pretty quickly into those markets. Okay, I'm gonna skip all these people. I just told you about them. All right, let's get to money. So our cost for our body balm is $12.50. The wholesale is $20. We suggest the retail for the balm at $24.50. The spray is $9. Our wholesale is $18, so you can see we're making a huge profit. And the bath crystals are only $5.50 for that 32-ounce jar. We're going to wholesale it for $11, and the retail will come in around $15.25. So that was from a dollars and cents standpoint, Steve. One of the most impressive things is the profit margin on the products is absolutely enormous. Okay, and the boom boom. So here's the profit margins at a glance. The bath salts, 200% margin on the bath salts, 50% margin on the balm, 45% margin on the spray, and we get even higher when we start selling to doctors because we'll increase the prices for doctors. No offense, docs. And then we could also sell in bulk. So with the flotation tank, you buy, how much do you buy, did you say? 800 pounds. 800 pounds. Because we have access to the supply, we could also do bulk sales. So the financial highlights, we're looking at $1 million business, gross revenue. EBITDA comes down to $163,000. By 2019, it's a $1.4 million business. After taxes, $365,000. So I think the greatest thing about the financial projections here are that it's extremely profitable. We don't have any manufacturing costs. We buy it turnkey from the manufacturer, so we don't have to absorb all the risk and the expense of manufacturing. At some point down the line, it may make sense, but right now, the numbers work as it is, so we're keep sourcing it. So what are we looking for? We are looking, I've invested about $45,000 over the last 4 years. We're looking for $200,000 in our first round. That is to secure inventory, get labels and packaging, legal fees. So I hate to say, but none of this is trademarked. And we need to trademark everything, protect the formulas, sales materials, launch the marketing, and get the broker sales force on board. So exit strategies very quickly. The goal here is to grow each of these individual lines to between $5 and $10 million and then sell it for 4 times X. And that is the industry average right now is 4 times X. So Maybe we'll hold on to some of them, maybe we won't, but that's the goal, is to build them to 5 to 10 and then sell them. And then PQ Corporation reached out because they want to start a consumer products division. And they have no idea how to do that. They're a raw material supplier. So they're interested in, we're still talking, I have to decide like how to work this out, but they're interested in licensing some of the products that we've already put together. So it's interesting, we're in negotiations. So there it is. Thank you for your time and your energy.